This video is going to talk about some basic display settings you may want to change in your D2L Gradebook. These settings will customize how the grades and gradebook displays appear to both you and your students in your course. The first thing we're going to do is switch between Standard and Spreadsheet view. This switch is accomplished easily with this button here on the right side of your gradebook screen window. When you are in Spreadsheet view, you can type and edit grades directly into the appropriate column. When you are in Standard view, you will need to select Grade All from the drop-down menu for a particular column in order to add or enter grades. Now that we're back on the regular Enter Grade screen, let's click on the Settings link here in the upper right-hand corner to look at a lot more settings that we can customize in our gradebook. First of all, let's look at the options on this first Managing View Display Options or Personal Display Options tab. By default, you only see your students' names in the gradebook, but if you want to see their username, their B number, or their email address right there in the gradebook, you could select those options here. Next, this Grade Details area allows you to customize how you see the grades in your gradebook. You can check and uncheck items in this area to customize whether or not you see points, weights, percentages, letter grades, or grade scheme colors. You may want to experiment with different combinations of settings here to see what works best for you. The next two options you'll probably want to customize in this area are the two Number Before Repeating options. In this box here, you can specify how many columns appear in your gradebook before usernames show up again. In the item below, you can customize how many student rows are shown before the column headings repeat. Again, don't be afraid to use a little trial and error here to get your gradebook view just like you want. In this Repeat Final Grades area, you can decide whether you want either the calculated final grade or the adjusted final grade, or both columns, to appear at the start of your gradebook. If you leave both of these items unchecked, you will only see them at the end of your gradebook spreadsheet and you'll have to scroll clear to the right to view them. Finally, in this Start Page area, you can set what you want to be your gradebook start page. And again, this just applies to you as the instructor, not to students. Most people like to begin at the Enter Grade screen, but you can choose to open up your gradebook to the Manage Grade screen, the Settings page, the Schemes page, or the Setup wizard if you wish. Now let's save those options, and let's go to the second tab, the Org Unit Display options. The items on this tab generally determine how your gradebook appears for students in comparison to the Personal Display Options tab, where most of the settings apply to just you as the instructor. Now here there are fewer options to customize. 3 of them have to do with the decimals displayed to both you and your students. This first box allows you to set the number of decimal places in calculated grades that you see as the instructor. This box here allows you to customize how many decimal places your students see. In the Grade Details area, you can customize whether or not your students see points, weights, percentages, symbols, and colors. Just like we customized for your view on the previous tab, this area allows you to customize how your students are seeing their grades. Finally, this last option here allows you to show students how their final grade was calculated when they look at their grades. Let's save these options. And now I'll briefly mention the third tab, the Calculation Options area, though we'll talk about this tab in more detail in other videos. The options in this tab determine how your gradebook actually is calculating grades, so you'll definitely want to have these set up before you start entering the students' grades. But in contrast, the items on the previous two tabs can be manipulated and tweaked throughout the course of your class to customize your view of the grades area as you're going through the course.